wassalamu ala rasulullah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. My name is Alaa ElSayed. I'll be your instructor for the upcoming AlKauthar Institute course called Home Sweet Home. And inshallah it will be Home Sweet Home. For the beginning, we want to make sure that we have a beautiful, solid beginning. And to give you an example that's tangible to you, in this life you have to take a course in order for you to drive a car. This is just to drive a car. Could you imagine making the most important decision in your life, having a family without having to take a course, knowing exactly what to do, what not to do, and making sure that the sources we get is from the Quran and the Sunnah, all authenticated inshallah, explaining what they mean and so on. So being a proactive approach to having a home sweet home, literally inshallah. We will deal with aspects of choosing your spouse. On what basis did you say I do? Ukhti, what did you say to that man? Why did you say I do to this man? Did you say because, did you see this? How could I say no to this ring? But what are the 4 things that you look for? Most of the time I talk to the youth and they say, I remember the hadith. I remember one thing only. The rest is kind of vague, wallahi. And what do you remember from the hadith? This is the jamaliha, of course. Her beauty, of course. Ya akhi, Islam is a practical religion. Wallahi, it tells you to have a beautiful wife. No problem. But there's a lot more to it. What are they? Come to the course and you'll find out, inshallah. After you find the righteous spouse, either or, what are the steps you have to take in order for you to make sure that you made the right decision? There are 4 steps that we talk about. The 4-point method, inshallah, that we will talk about in this course. And you have made the decision, alhamdulillah. Now what to do in the wedding. Before I go to the wedding, can I get out of the wedding without being bankrupt, for example? What advice do you get? What to do, what not to do? There is a to do and not to do list. There are certain questions that you have to ask to make sure that you're on the right track. And before that, and making sure that we have to follow the book and the sunnah, emphasize that in order for you to be happy in this life and in the hereafter. That is the only way, inshallah. After having this beautiful wedding ceremony, do you know the sunnah, akhi? According to what to do, how do you enter your home? Do you know that we're supposed to pray 2 rak'at? You're supposed to say a few things before and after, the manners and the etiquettes during that period. And after this, alhamdulillah, Allah blessed you with righteous children. How do you deal with righteous children? How do you raise them in this West according to the book and the sunnah again? Now, the biggest of all, how do you decipher hieroglyphics between a husband and a wife? Do you understand that men and women speak in a different language, use different sides of the brain? You have to understand there's a physical, psychological, biological, spiritual, all these things are different. We have to turn a negative into a positive. In order for us to make sure that we're doing on the right track, you have to decipher the hieroglyphics. You have to understand the language that people speak in order for you to be able to understand that how to make it into a positive environment right around. Raising your children, how to deal with them as the youth, talking about peer pressure, how to, even when you raise your children, look for their own spouse after this. How do you deal with the mother-in-law syndrome? How do you deal with the back home syndrome? How do you deal with all these aspects that actually make it or break it for you? There is a lot more for us to deal with it, but most of all, inshallah, how to be proactive, that's what we're looking for. We're going to have some nice case studies to give you some tangible examples in order for you to relate to these issues, and we will talk your language, inshallah. We will also leave some room for questions and answers, and I'll always be there for you. I look forward to seeing you all in person, inshallah. Till then, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it purely for His sake and accept from all of us, ameen. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our witness to be the pure testimony for us, a plea for us, not against us, inshallah, that we have tried, we've done our best to have a happy family in this life, so we can have a happy family, inshallah, in the hereafter. Jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum.